everyone!
Could you guys hear us during like the blank intro part?
Yeah, did you hear any of that? Oops, did you turn it down towards the end?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, I turned it down so it wasn't in our phone. I can turn it back up.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me now? Please tell me you can hear me.
You didn't hear anything in the pre. Okay.
Oh, that's so funny. We thought that you'd be able to hear us.
Yeah.
But you couldn't. You can hear me.
Oh, that's good. Ian, prove you cannot high five Danae. You cannot?
Prove that I can't high five Danae?
That's interesting. We heard you use the wrong intro. Look.
I'm using Danae's mic. I'm using Danae's mic.
So fucking close. This is an R-rated show. Everybody.
Hey everyone, we're in the same room. We're trying something different today.
Yeah, you thought right. You know what, JCD? Is there any question about the beigest walls you've ever seen? And he's been and those are my things. Behind his head are like all my old electronics. And then on the other side is a little, Careful with that. Hey, careful.
I'm a cat.
Ian, careful with that.
You come over here and stop me. Ah! No. Ooh. She's so mad. Help!
I'm going.
Oh my god.
Joe. How are you?
I think there is a Zune up there somewhere.
I've definitely like gone into the Discord, Pojo, and been like, I just want to jump in and join chat. But then I'm like, I don't know. I'll only be there for like 12 seconds and it's awkward. But I see you guys in there all the time. I want to game with you again. Oh my god, stop touching my shit!
Beat me up.
I do. You know what? I have one. Be right back. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that. There's too much equipment.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Okay.
The chaos is coming from inside the house.
It really is. There's so much chaos. And I have tea.
Your eyeball is huge. Yes. The new graphics is real. I just noticed it. They must have updated some of their graphic stuff.
Oh, wow. That does look weird. That's totally different.
Can we see your soul? Yeah. Okay. So let's guess what's in the reflection of Sarah's eyeball. I'm going to guess it's a cat. Thanks, Pojo.
I think it's the countryside, like an ocean of something.
Ian, did you mess up the computer like you did at Aaron's house?
Oh, no. It's as much as Aaron gets pissed at me. Danae's nuclear. I would not do that to her computer.
It's a cloudy day. You're guessing it's Sarah herself in Sarah's eye. A fish.
Oh,
yes.
Mirror,
yes.
A mirror
I like that.
Sarah.
It's you holding the camera. Got it. The kitty is not inside right now. The kitty went out for an outdoor adventure.
I don't know where the kitty is, but we do have an animal story. Because that happened since last week.
Let's just say that we have decided that it may be best to have like a little kill count board with information on it updated whenever there's a new cat activity situation.
Yeah.
I'm going to put some music on.
Do it. Do you want me to press one of the buttons? I can reach them.
Yeah, you can actually. I don't think you should.
Oh, okay. We said I can. I'm trying to my mic arm is currently directly in the way of the chat.
That's great.
So
we're gonna have to figure that this is why we're doing it. We're gonna just see how this goes.
Have to just make the screen
while
small.
You're here.
Nope. Don't want to make the screen that small.
No, it was not another bird.
That's better.
Ian thought it was a rat.
I did honestly thought it was a rat. I thought it was a really fat rat.
And why did you think it was a rat?
Because it didn't have a head, so it was hard to specify exactly what species the animal was, as it had been decapitated.
It was a little baby bunny. Are we going to find out that the cat also doesn't like the beard? I think the cat likes the beard.
Cat loves the beard. The cat has licked my beard.
I know.
It really has.
A murder board would be the perfect ties in with the baseball and its love of stats. You know, you're right. Like just like a little. I want to have. You know how some families will have like the little logos on the back of their car, the little decals that'll talk about like the kids what sex the child is, their animals. Like, I think we need to do one of those, but then there's birds, there's size of bird, and then there's the escaped bird, and then there's the mystery one that we're pretty sure escaped, but we're not entirely sure. There's the one that almost escaped but then died, and now we have a bunny. So
yeah, and I had to retrieve this bunny and put it in a bag and take it away.
You did. I did not feel bad asking you to do that, but afterwards I thought maybe I had over assumed what the responsibilities that you want to have while you're here.
I didn't even question it. You just like, can you deal with this? And I was like, okay. And as I was mid scooping, I was like, why am I doing this and not doing whatever job Danae was about to do?
Oh, let me tell you this real quick, Polly. Well, everyone. So, as you all know, I had a frozen dead thing in my freezer for a while before I buried it, and that was the big fish fiasco. Well, we buried it in the front yard in this little, like underneath the tree in this little area where my best friend Jen has been planting all these flowers. And yesterday when she went to go plant flowers, I kind of took a peek over there just to see, if there's anything strange happening. And right over where we buried it are all of these little white spheres that are like kind of coming up out of the ground. And it spooked me a little. I didn't remember that we poured soil there, and it's like the pearlescent things from the soil, and they're specifically from a soil like composition that is meant to like wick away water, and so whenever it's wet, it'll rise to the top. So it's there for a reason, but we both forgot that we had poured this specific soil in that area last season. So we're both like, oh my God, that's where so we kind of thought for a second we were going to be getting like a little zombie version of this fish. Yeah.
Fair question.
It's good to see you. Cheers.
Cheers, all the kids and cats.
Aw, it's good to see you.
I wanted to pull out this incredible synergy between YouTube and Twitch.
Okay.
And the people on YouTube won't know this, and the people on Twitch won't know this. But a couple of minutes ago, we had David Ellis on YouTube said, Danae, you need a squirt bottle to deal with that sort of misbehavior. This was me batting all of the things.
Stop touching it.
Seconds later, Apes on Twitch said, need to spray him with water to make him know it's bad to do those things. We have synergy across all of the chats. They think I should be sprayed with a water bottle. Oh, that was so hard. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to do it that hard. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Wait. Which... Welcome to Captain's Ball. Well, now I know the things you really like from that area. Oh, no, jeez. Oh my, she's taking the whole thing off the wall. Oh, no. Oh. She will. She'll take them off.
I do have a shame bell, Andrew. Look at your background. It's so beige. Oh my God. Oh no, what are you doing? Where are you going? If he comes and puts it back. Oh my God, it is so bland, Pojo. Look at it. So I've actually been trying to figure out what I'm going to do because my whole, like this, it's so beige and I'm so beige and my wardrobe is usually pretty beige. So I think I'm going to have to do the thing where I cover every single inch of space behind me with something instead of having some like negative area. Bye, Ian. He has gone to get something. I don't know what yet, but I'm assuming it's going to be something that goes in the corner and I assume he's going to go get, I have like a little multi-tiered. If you touch anything on that wall, there will be violence of the swatting sort. And like a strong fear I hope to evoke in the future. Hey, just sit down. Just sit down. Hey, guys, I'm the captain now. I'm the captain.
Where's our Enterprise thing? The motion picture.
Yeah, right? Like I blend into the wall. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, he was coming for like something like this, and I'm like, don't touch it.
Yeah, I was trying to get the Sin Week bus, so I just had one picture behind me. I look like I'm in prison. I look like I'm recording from prison.
You do.
Yay!
Give you this. But no, I don't think I will. No, don't.
Look at distraction.
We really should do the show. Get away now! Hey, don't you pierce it.
I'm not going to pierce it.
Yeah.
Look, can I pierce it?
No.
No, I can't pierce it.
How I do it
Why
is...
did you give me those?
So, they go like...
Oh, on the edge, not through.
Yeah, don't pierce it. Because I want to actually put it into a frame. Guys, what do you have for a sore throat? I do warm, and I do honey. I will, like... boil some water, put some honey in there, and then mix it up, let it cool just a little bit, and then we'll just... yeah, apple cider. That's good. Children! This is what... I'm so sorry. We will get to the show. Just one. It's so much worse.
I've been...
What's funny is that when there's nothing there, you don't realize that it's not one wall. Because it looks flat, but you actually have like a bit of an angle.
I don't know how that makes it look more bare. That makes it stand out even worse. More. That's amazing.
Yeah, I want to put it in a frame. I've got some. Just I want to frame it. I've got too many things that I should probably have in a frame. You love the stream being amazing.
Yay!
Does she really? Well, Pojo, she's right. She's absolutely right. A little honey. It just kind of coats the throat.
I've been told that works.
Excuse me. Are those Bugle Boy jeans you're wearing? Have you ever seen those commercials? Did you have those commercials?
What are Bugle Boy jeans?
It was a commercial.
No, I have no clue.
I still need to find a spot for the. Oh my God! You got the big one.
Oh,
I don't know.
Did. Yeah, you got the 6 foot standee.
That's like something you just like put on the ceiling and then
on the ceiling in your bedroom specifically, above the bed.
All right, you are. It's so distracting. Ta-ta. I didn't realize we were going to be outfitting your wall live on screen or live on stream.
No, well, when you stripped it bare, you left me no choice.
Yeah, I didn't feel like I had a choice either.
Yeah, it's fair.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for joining us for the live taping of Captain's podcast.
Taping.
Yeah. It's a new word I'm trying out. Yeah. I did just watch an episode of Murder, She Wrote. And it was a murder that happened in a recording studio. And it was like all the old school equipment and stuff. Yeah. And all of these like cassette tapes that were on the wall.
Was it recorded? Was that part of the plot?
The recording did come into part of the plot. Yes.
Was it, I'm going to kill you? I think he did it.
Thank you. Yes. Please do what Pojo is doing and set your VHS right now to record.
Right now.
Can Ambassador take pips away from... Yes, I can.
Wait, no, that's not a rule.
You just noticed the Enterprise graphic? Hey, let's check it out. Look.
Yay!
Look at that.
Do I have another one? Do I have a bigger one?
Do you remember the artist's name?
Oh, Pedro.
Yes.
I do. I do remember
it. Good.
I remembered it in that moment.
Yes, we had commissioned a drawing of the Enterprise. So
yeah, Pedro is extremely talented. He is specifically really good at like putting himself into scenes from Star Trek. I don't know if he's still doing it, but he would like get the lighting and the green screen so great that it looked like he was in an episode of TNG. It's so good. So good.
Flyboy, it's weird because I do like to watch like really simple shows as sort of a palate cleanser to some of the other shows that I watch. And I caught Murder, She Wrote one afternoon like a month ago, and it's now in my rotation anytime I go onto YouTube TV. It's always up there as an option. So as I'm piddling around getting some stuff done, and I don't want to pay attention to it, I'll put it on and just listen to what they thought was entertaining, which is very fascinating to me.
I love that. People are really confused by my jeans.
I have not. I want to talk about this too.
Yes.
Not today, but there's a reason, and I actually recorded something that I was 100% sure I was going to release, and then I didn't.
Why didn't you do it? He asks,
wow.
knowing.
No, it's not for the reason that you think. Although, I mean, that plays into it. Yeah, that's not. We can't get into it on the show.
Not this show.
Not this show. It's because of Ian. I bet it's Ian.
My fault.
I knew it. It's Ian.
100% my fault.
But I really am sorry that I have not posted it on Search for Spark. Thank you for noticing, and I have gotten some other messages too. Just checking in. I appreciate you guys a bunch. So let's get into the show, though. We're going to be talking about, obviously, Star Trek on today's show.
Wait, what?
Because that's just what we do now. It's weird. We're totally changing our format, talking about Star Trek. So hopefully you guys like it. We are an R-rated show. We're broadcasting on YouTube and also on Twitch, on 2 different Twitch channels. My own personal one, which is Danae Says, that eventually I hope to release more content on someday, hopefully. And then also on CinemaSins Live, where you can also catch Jeremy and Chris and Aaron recording their podcast called Recotopia every Tuesday. And we, what else? Oh, and on YouTube, CSPN, CinemaSins Podcast Network channel. And that's where all of our videos exist beyond the Twitch limits. So if you ever want to go back and watch a live version of the show, that's where you can catch it. And yeah, here's where you hear everything being recorded and coming together. And now you get to see us in our shenanigans in the same room
which has already proven to be worth the price of admission. I think I hope you guys all paid correctly to be here. It should have been somewhere in the region of $60.
Okay, let me quickly explain what Star Trek is to Pojo.
Oh, this will be good.
It's an imaginary place.
Nope. I have a rebuttal. I have an argument against that. It's not imaginary.
It's an imaginary show.
It just hasn't happened yet.
It's in the realm of space travel, space exploration, space wars, space species, intersexual experiences between species, a complete annihilation of species, and pretty much one person's initial idea of what the future could be like that was then manipulated in new ways once they died. And then more people decided what the future would look like.
Yes. Pretty good.
Thank you.
Pretty solid.
Off to the Holosuite.
Oh, I should have done that.
What?
I said join us in the holodeck. I didn't say Holosuite. Would have been the perfect time to say Holosuite.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, you did.
You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Let's go.
Whoa. We're not watching Voyager, Star Trek.
We said Voyager? Oh, yeah, you got to do the thing. Yeah.
9.
We've got to deep some 9s
9
into space.
9.
We're going to get our 9s deep spaced.
And then it's baseball hell. All right. How's this look? Can you read that? Does that make sense, everybody?
Captain's Pod, Star Trek, Deep Space 9. What are you doing?
I'm
9.
I'm in charge of the
baseball
banner today.
Hell,
Apparently,
we will pin your baseball.
This reminds me of one of my favorite professors. Every other class was a challenge to see how long we can make him digress or go down a rabbit trail. Thank you. Please continue.
Yeah,
you're doing a great job.
I mean,
we do not need your help, but
okay. I think I can do it. Just yeah, You can specifically thank David Ellis for this one, Danae.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to 10 Forward, the part of the show where we grab something from the replicator and share our immediate thoughts and feelings on the episode we just watched together. Most important question first. What is your thing of choice from the replicator, Ambassador?
I want drunky gum, please.
Scotch gum.
I don't know if I want scotch.
Uh-huh. You don't want scotch.
But I think like I want a grasshopper martini gum.
That's so oddly specific.
Well, yeah, it's one of my favorite martinis.
I love that.
It was like one of those moments when you order a martini that you're like, I think I like all these things. I like Bailey's. I like mint. I like chocolate.
Grasshoppers?
I don't know why they called it a grasshopper. I have no idea. But I was initially like, no, I'm not going to have a grasshopper martini. And then I read the ingredients and I thought that sounds really good. And that was the jumping point for me drinking what some of my friends refer to as frou-frou alcoholic beverages.
Because it has a lot of fancy stuff in it. It's a frou-frou.
Yeah, it's like a frou-frou thing.
That's amazing. You want some frou-frou
I'm sorry,
gum.
did you just say mint and chocolate? That shouldn't be.
That's not frou-frou. That is not what we're here to talk about. Stop it. Alcohol pod. No, I would, of course, I want that baseball that's signed by the entire cast that's still around in season 7 of Deep Space Nine. I want that ball. I know it's out there. I know it's still probably in Milton Keynes somewhere. Just in an exhibit that exists.
Where
look that
is
up.
the
It's got to be there somewhere.
On Deep Space Nine baseball episode.
Side note.
Yeah.
Garrick is oddly absent from this episode. Can you imagine Garrett playing baseball? That would have been incredible.
It's not popping up quickly.
You mean there's something Google AI doesn't know yet?
Don't say that out loud. It'll be triggered.
It will know. Yeah, it'll be so sad.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't pop up. Where's the Holosuite ball? That's a good one to put. Let's not look that up now. Carry on.
Oh, I bet Ira Stephen Baird does have it. I think that makes a lot of sense. I'm sure he does. Okay, anyway, give us a synopsis, Ambassador, for an episode dedicated to your favorite thing of all time.
So, have you ever wondered what it would be like to watch Star Trek characters play baseball? That's the only reason to watch this episode.
Lies. Sorry, I usually let you finish.
Oh, if you really want to see racist Vulcans, this is the one for you too.
Yes.
Oh, and if you wanted to know that Jadzia is finally dead, this is it too. I think. Is she dead? She's dead, right?
Yeah, she's dead. Yeah. That's the only way that happens. Overall thoughts and feelings.
So this was a hard one for me because I don't enjoy watching sports in real life. I don't like watching sports on TV shows. I don't usually enjoy like the buildup of the game and who is going to win and all that stuff is not something that I'm usually like really motivated by.
Agreed. Same here.
So I look for other things to sort of enjoy. And it turns out that like Cisco is more of an asshole than Jadzia ever was. So now like this episode revealed to me that I can like let that like the number 1 spot of my least favorite Deep Space Nine character is like full on Cisco now. So that's new.
Oh no.
And like, so what an unrelatable, horrible person he is. For so many reasons. And so that was interesting to be like so angry watching this one, like not be into the baseball, not be into a lot of like the plot. But then also like really try to find something to enjoy. And I think I discovered it in the like, what is it? The intention, the spirit of the show.
Yes.
I was really reaching for that, going, this is so fun to watch these characters wear their uniforms on a field. And this is so interesting because, Worf is playing baseball. And I've always wanted to see what Worf looks like in a baseball
You haven't.
costume.
You don't have to lie.
And this is what I'm doing in my brain. I'm like, this is okay. This is okay. But there was a few moments that I really did enjoy that certainly are like character related. This is the Rudy episode of Star Trek.
Rudy?
Yeah, there's
What's
a
Rudy.
it's a movie.
Okay, Rudy the movie.
Yeah.
Is it about baseball?
No. Anyway, yeah. What about you?
Okay. Yeah, I get it. In this one specific instance, Cisco is a dick and he's horrible, but the show does do a good job of explaining why and gives him some redemption at the end. So I think they do go very super duper hard on making him an ass in this episode and then roll it back to serve the story. The barrier to entry on this episode is high because I'm not a big baseball person either. I'm not a baseball person at all, but I really, really love this episode. I think it's one of the funnier episodes of Deep Space Nine. And I really, really love the journey that the entire crew goes on through this sporting metaphor team building thing. And I think the end is super satisfying. There's a lot that I really, really, really love about this episode. But as soon as we sat down to watch it, you're like, oh fuck, it's baseball. Do you know how much I hate baseball? I was like, no, I don't actually. So I knew we had a bit of an uphill struggle, but did you pull a lot of Star Trek out of it? Did you find any love in it despite your hatred of baseball? Did you manage to engage at all?
This is the least Star Trek episode I've ever seen.
That's fair. It is. No, it's not. No.
Okay.
It has a philosophical basis. It does have a message in it, and that's very Star Trek. I think the message behind this is super Star Trek.
Let me be specific. Message-wise, I'm not thinking about that. I'm talking about like being in the world of Star Trek.
Oh, for real? Yeah,
this is the
absolutely.
least Star Trek I've ever seen. There's like, you get to still see some of Deep Space Nine, and you get to see them like in these different sets. I could tell the cast was having a fun time with this one. That's part of what I enjoyed about it.
Yeah.
Like when I was mentioning the specific things I loved, Odo in this one, fantastic.
Oh, Odo's incredible. Oh my gosh.
He and Worf are my two favorites.
Death to the opposition.
I really liked their take on it, like the character. Since I don't really know the rest of them very well, I even liked O'Brien. Of course, I know O'Brien a little bit more than the other characters as well. Yeah. So kind of seeing them sort of sink into it and get into it and sort of understanding the character, like the motivation that this crew is doing this. And then there was David mentioned in the chat that there is let me see if I can find it real quick. For the context, this was a fun side quest that was in the middle of a Dominion war. So like, I think I'm understanding or remembering rather that Deep Space Nine was more of a series show instead of an episodic show.
Correct.
And there is a really intense war going on, which is referenced at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah.
And so this is sort of a way for them to do something new. So as a viewer, if you've been watching a lot of intensity, I think this would be a really relieving episode to watch because it sort of reminds you about the fun that can happen in storytelling. And it's not always like super serious. And I think that's something to really give weight to.
Yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't that I wasn't having a good time. It was more just that like it's not one that engaged me. I was more watching it to talk about it on the show, which is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I get it. I know everything I know about baseball. I know from this episode of Star Trek. Like many things in my life, I've learned them because of Star Trek. And this is the most, I think, 21st century episode or 20th century episode of Star Trek that they ever did. Like, there's not just like references. You are immersed 100. This is basically a time travel episode because they are living in 1998. One of the interesting things is that it aired during the 1998 World Series of Baseball. So there was some like interesting synergy going on there.
So it was a viewer grab. Got it.
I don't think so because by the time you're at season 7 of Deep Space Nine,
I was joking.
You're not grabbing more viewers through baseball.
No, I think like also remembering that Cisco loves baseball. It must have been fun to find a way to incorporate this actually into the canon of the show. To kind of find a way to, how does it make sense during a war for Cisco to force his entire team to play baseball, and then kind of come up with this episode.
Well, to your point, when you said this is like a nice break for listeners during like all of the Dominion War stuff, because season 7 and season 6 are heavy, like they are in the war, like they're not messing around. They do some really dark storylines, and I can see it being nice to take a break. But on the flip side, I bet it was bloody annoying at the time to take a break from this really serialized, like, what happens next in the Dominion War? What's going to happen? And then you suddenly take a break to play baseball for an episode. Like, I think that would have really frustrated me.
Yeah,
because like, it's just like, wow, are we really doing this right now? Are we playing baseball when there's literally a war happening?
Yeah, I think the setup of the show is interesting as well. It really focuses a lot on Cisco's personal rivalry with a racist Vulcan.
Solok, yes.
Who has come to Deep Space Nine for repairs. And obviously from the start, you can see based on the way that they kind of act this scene out, that there's just this history between the two of them. And in a conversation sort of towards the last third of the episode, Cisco reveals to his wife the backstory of this like really embarrassing moment that happened to Cisco when he was in college, essentially. Where he lost a wrestling match with this Vulcan, and the Vulcan then used that loss as an example in multiple psychology papers, and then would go on in his career to often reference it in every published piece of material, kind of as a personal vendetta. And so Cisco is like really annoyed, like, I don't know if hates is the right word, but he's so bothered by what this person is doing and saying in his perspective that he really loses his cool throughout this entire episode. He just is incredibly unprofessional.
Yes.
And if there is a war going on and he's diverting all of these resources to playing baseball, it's even more confusing to me. Why it's just a silly episode. It's a silly episode.
No, it is really silly.
But it's a silly episode inside of a war kind of thing. But the setup here is that the rival Vulcan comes to town and has this specific holodeck program that his crew has been working with for a long time, and they just want to play this game of, wouldn't you know it, baseball, which Cisco can't turn down.
Of course not. And he believes that he's being baited.
He is.
And that Solok has specifically picked baseball, knowing how much Cisco loves it. Like, I'm going to strip every ounce of humanity you have by challenging you to the game that you love the most, knowing that a team of Vulcans can absolutely walk all over pretty much any group of any other species.
Yeah. So in 2 weeks' time, they have so then we get this, it's kind of like a montage episode where you get to watch your beloved Deep Space Nine characters just do a terrible approach at baseball. And that is something I actually liked about this episode, is that they lose. Okay. I wrote in my notes, if they win, I quit. Because
oh no, we nearly lost her.
There's no way that they should win against Vulcans who have been practicing forever. And you've got these derpy group of people that are like gooneying their way through this episode. Like, this is an accidental mess.
Unless you're hacking the holodeck to deliberately fuck with the balls thrown by the Vulcans, or like overweighting their bats, there's no way.
Unless they cheat.
The humans win, exactly.
Yeah, and I really liked that the episode didn't say like, okay, our team is going to win, but instead it takes a stance that they're winning because they tried. They're winning because they came together as a team. They're winning because they had fun, and ultimately they're winning because they're going to goad this horrible Vulcan and become just as horrible themselves. And that was a little bit odd. That was a little bit like the whole like mocking. There's something to be said about the storytelling aspect of, you make a bad guy and then you make shitting on the bad guy okay.
Yes.
Kind of like if there's a murder show and someone's going to die, like, you make sure it's okay that they're going to be murdered. Like, we want to know that he kicks puppies before we kill him, because we want to have but old storytelling is just like, nope, this guy's a bully, and so we're going to bully him back. And that's going to level the playing field a little bit. We're all going to feel better about ourselves. And that was a little bit rough for me as far as the ending goes. But I think the heart of what the episode was trying to do is say, we're going to have fun, even if we don't win, because Cisco eventually remembers what a game is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be like, well, in this world, it's not supposed to be highly competitive and whether you win or not. It's the memories you make along the way.
Oh, of course. Well, let's roll back to the very, very beginning, because I really love I love the way this entire episode is written. I really, really do. Like, it can be seen as like a silly throwaway episode, but I think it's written very deliberately, and it is oozing to the point where Solok is on the edge of being an unbelievable Vulcan for me. But that opening exchange between him and Cisco, where Cisco baits him by saying it's been 10 years, and then he gives like exactly like 10 years, 10 months, whatever. I'm sure you've got it written down.
10 years, 2 months, and 5 days.
And Cisco's just like, oh, I'm surprised you don't know the minutes. And Solok is like, well, I know that irritates humans. Like, there is like some deep-seated hatred in there. And before we know what that hatred is, you're like, oh, did he kill someone? Like, did he steal something? Is there something like, is he a corrupt Starfleet captain? And it's fucking like, it's a college argument that they had. But the seething anger from Cisco, I love that exchange so much. I really, really do.
Yeah, it definitely set the stage that something was very, very wrong between the two of them. I want to kind of hone in on this idea of like Solok's character. And maybe it's because I haven't seen very many Vulcan characters besides Strange New Worlds version of Spock, which includes his wife.
Yes.
T'Lyn.
Oh! No.
Why don't I get points for that?
T'Pring.
God damn it.
T'Lyn is a Vulcan, though, but in lower decks. That's you being Vulcanist.
Oh, it's T'Lyn.
The two female Vulcans that you know, and you confuse them.
Oh, man. I felt like I was so proud of myself.
You were so happy.
I was so happy for a second there. You know what? It's fine. You know what? It's fine. Maybe whenever I actually do name enough characters in one episode, like, I will have arrived and the show is over.
That's when we know to finish. There is no more that you need to watch.
Fuck. Anyway, so that Vulcan, I remember also like maybe her parents, maybe, or maybe it was Spock's parents in an episode of Strange New Worlds.
No, we haven't seen Spock's parents.
Okay,
yet. Maybe his mother.
Then it was T'Pring. Then it was somebody visited, I think, in one of the Strange New Worlds episodes, and I just remember very matriarchal sort of intensity.
Yeah,
I've obviously
Spock's
seen
mother.
the episode now, and that one had like the queen of all Vulcans.
Yes, T'Pau.
Yeah, lots of tits going on, and so I feel like what I've been shown is, I don't know, maybe like a more restrained judgment style. But when you just said that it's a borderline offensive Vulcan kind of concept, I found myself really having a hard time believing he wasn't being emotional in this episode.
It's so hard. And the TNG DS9 era does this a lot, especially going into Enterprise, which is a series that is a prequel series. So it's like at the dawn of Starfleet and the very beginning, where the Vulcans are like helping Starfleet and helping humans get into the galaxy. That era of Star Trek pushes what I'm comfortable with a Vulcan being, which sounds so like kind of prudish, but in my head, I'm like, Vulcans, if they follow logic that much and they're that kind of like intellectual and advanced, then how are they not beyond being this racist and this judgmental?
No, yeah.
And these episodes push it really hard for me.
But the chat is reminding me, and I appreciate it. Thanks for Sean and Flashlight and Wandering JCD. We see all your guys' comments, and it's really appreciated because I need to remember that Vulcans are not. They are emotional. They've just worked at suppressing their emotions.
They're not void of emotions,
right? And I think sometimes I forget that bit, a little bit. So it's really interesting then to kind of go, oh, that's not my Vulcan, which is super racist. And then also add to that, no, this is an example of what a Vulcan can become and can be.
Yes.
When the emotion is maybe turned acidic and it's vile and it's sort of like almost this person believes that their version of an emotionless, logical approach includes these variables. And that's an interesting concept as well, because we do have a very sour Solak. So,
and I think as a general rule, that's fine. I get it. Like, I get that, like, some Vulcans will have as much variety as humans. Like, you're going to have arrogant Vulcans, you're going to have shy and meek Vulcans.
Yeah.
And I end up being okay with it as of course, the person who gets to make a judgment on this.
Yes.
So I'm
we
okay.
who judge Star Trek.
Exactly. I'm all right with Solok in this episode because he really is an extreme. Like, he has made it his life's work specifically to prove that Vulcans are superior. And this interaction, or maybe multiple interactions over his life, have made him zero in on humans specifically.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that all Vulcans are like this, but the Vulcans that we see in Star Trek tend to be like this. And I get it, because that's interesting conflict. Like, you want this superior being that's like superior intellectually, physically, they would argue emotionally superior as well. You want to see them be brought down a peg or two. But Solok is like way on the edge to like being like xenophobic and racist about humans. And that's always tough for me to find from a Vulcan.
It's also, I'm also really confused. Like, this episode presses that Starfleet would allow a full Vulcan ship.
Oh,
and
that's
I don't
so confusing
understand
to me.
that.
I don't know why Vulcans, I don't know how they've maneuvered their way into having an entire Vulcan ship. It feels really anti-Starfleet.
Yeah.
And just stay with the Vulcan Science Academy. Like, what, are you admitting that Starfleet has better ships? Because if you've got an entire ship full of Vulcans in Starfleet, they're admitting that there's something superior in Starfleet compared to the Vulcan Science Academy, or wherever their ships are called.
Yeah. So their rivalry is the catalyst for the rest of this episode. Eventually, the crew ends up understanding Sisko's motivation to best his rival on a personal level, and that sort of fuels them to do better. But I feel like the big hits of this episode are the silly things happening with baseball, getting to watch Star Trek characters fumble around on a field.
Yeah.
And then watching them kind of practice on Deep Space Nine in these various places. We get to see them practicing and drilling in the boardroom and in the bar area. Like, they're full of injuries. So it's sort of like when things go terribly wrong, when you decide you have a really intense baseball game with a superior opponent in just a couple weeks, like, they really throw themselves into it.
Yeah.
And then the highlight really is what comes of all of that, and this sort of culmination of like letting the rejected person back on the team to have the big win at the end, which isn't technically the actual win. And then the crew all, mocking their rival in the end. But those are the things I think this show is trying to do, and it did it well.
Yeah. So did you enjoy the silliness in the middle of the episode? Because I imagine, and I say silliness I like this episode, so I don't mean silliness in a derogatory way,
right? But
the silliness with them going through the rules. Like, I imagine if I was a baseball nerd watching Kira, Worf, and Nog sit around a table talking through the baseball rule book, using all of this terminology, it would be like my favorite people talking about Star Trek, really specifically. Like, I imagine that's really, really fun for especially an American audience to like see them engage with a sport that is hugely, hugely popular, I think, in America. So I imagine like just delving into that and indulging in the silliness of letting them mess up and get through the tryouts and have all of these injuries must have been fun for probably the majority of people who enjoy baseball.
Yeah, I think it's doing what it thinks it needs to do for this episode, which is have everybody like learn a lot of rules. They were very, very intricate with the rules.
I kind of love that.
Yeah, especially as a a fleet of people who run a space station.
Yeah.
They are used to reading the manuals. They're used to how they have to be on their A game so that no one dies in space. So
Yes.
so they attack this like they're going to be going to battle or trying to stay alive. I think for me personally, and I know I say a lot of intense things and I say them as I feel them, but truly and genuinely, Cisco really ruins this episode for me.
All right, that's really interesting. Let's dig into that.
And I think it's very Cisco forward. So if you're watching Deep Space Nine, I'm sure this is a really like a normal kind of a character that you're used to experiencing and being. But like this is my first time to really have a Cisco heavy sort of moment. So far too much Cisco for me on this episode. It's like when you get something to eat. Yes, okay. So those of you who are keeping track at home, I'm making a food link.
One
so
up for
you
the
can
bingo
go
card.
one for the bingo card. It's like when you like order a pizza and it comes with some toppings you weren't quite expecting, and you're like, yeah, this is okay, but it was way too much anchovy. It overpowered everything else for me. So like how I would have loved it to go is you see Worf's approach to getting the team together. You see, and I think that they were trying to do that. They had different kind of sets and scenes where someone is drilling them of the rules. And you have these great one-liners with Worf.
Oh my gosh, he's so great.
And this is my bias because I'm a Deep Space Nine girl. I mean, a TNG girl. I want that character. I want to hear him tell these people that he works with how to properly swing a bat and equate it to something that he did. Oh, this is like this game back home. And I wanted to see Worf hit a ball so hard it blew up the bat. I want, like,
it's been a while since I've seen this episode, and I couldn't remember if Worf ends up hitting the ball. I thought that's what they were building up to. And I was dying for him to, like, you know, when the pigeon gets hit by the batter?
Yes.
And you go,
yeah.
I wanted Worf to do that, or to shatter the baseball bat because he's a Klingon.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get that desire.
So there was just like but you do have the Doctor approaching by fixing all of the injuries. That's a really unique approach. So I think it works for me. It was fun to watch them tackle this game because I do not relate to a love of baseball. I was just like, okay, you're tackling a project. That's kind of fine. That's kind of fine. But the intensity and the vitriol and the old anger, the bitterness, and just the nastiness of Cisco really changes the temperature of this episode for me.
I completely get it. And it highlights the reason I think this episode works so well is that it highlights exactly what I hate about sports, and also what I completely understand people love about sports. So this is Cisco loses all perspective completely, and we do this as humans so much when we get committed to any team. Doesn't just have to be sports, but sports is a great example. The place where we grew up, the place that are like our parents or parental figures, the sports that they supported and the team that they supported, that's what we get tied to, and that becomes our tribe. And baseball is Cisco's tribe. It should be Deep Space Nine is his tribe and his people are his tribe, but he loses all perspective when it comes to this. And it is really jarring because this isn't Cisco. Like, he is very harsh and he's very disciplined, but he is rarely unfair. Like, he's really super principled, as most incredible Starfleet captains are. But when it comes to this, you're right, he's mean, and it's hard to see the good guy, the Starfleet captain, be that mean, specifically to Rom, where he doesn't just kick him off the team or like have some conversation about it. It's, you're out of here. And he's like, I can't play baseball. Genius. You just said the smartest thing I've heard you say all day. You can't play baseball. And just absolutely losing it. And like, this tribal thing with sports can turn us into monsters. But it works for me because you have to get Cisco to that point. You have to get him basically to the villain to get the satisfaction of him in the bleachers with Rom and being taught how to enjoy baseball. and being taught by his crew who are terrible at baseball, but are still having fun. And as soon as he's not involved in the game anymore, they start having fun. And you just see this switch in his head. And at the very end, when he apologizes to Rom, like the episode just doesn't leave it as they're all having fun and yay, they make fun of the Vulcans. He takes a minute and goes to Rom and says, yeah, I was a dick. I apologize. And if you ever told me that like Sisko apologizes to Rom for something, it would be like way down my list of potential possibilities, because Rom is the comic relief. He is the butt of all of the jokes. So for Sisko to have a reason to apologize to him, that's a big deal. So that's why, bottom line, the episode works for me, because yeah, he goes through some really shitty peaks, but the payoff at the end, I love it so much.
Yeah, there are some really fun beats in this. I really do think that there's a lot of moments where this is really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, when the very first thing that they do is they start mocking the batter, like bada, 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 and then I think that's whenever Worf says something like "kill him."
Oh, he just like deadpan, death to the opposition.
Death to the opposition.
That's it. But it's when Rom. One of the Vulcans didn't hit home plate, I think. Sorry if I get any of this terminology wrong. And Nog is like, what do I do? And Worf's just like, kill him.
Yes. Find him and kill him.
It's so great. But I did notice this time that Worf, for the first time ever, is reduced to catchphrases. All of his dialogue is what would a Klingon do during baseball, and it's hilarious, but it doesn't do a service to Worf as a character, but it's the funniest bit of the episode for me.
I think like in a wild world, Sisko, like we rewrite this episode, and Sisko is not intense, and so everyone's not taking it as seriously. And Worf just gets a bit triggered during one of it and just tackles one of the Vulcans and breaks his leg.
Yes.
And then they're both ejected, obviously. And then, Rom has to come back in or something like that,
Yeah.
But I agree with you, to go back to what your point was about kind of Sisko's evolution in this episode. And I'm glad that you can kind of see how the peaks and the valleys of the emotional charge really like lend to his character or lend to this particular episode. For me, it was obviously a very character focus. If you're going to do a character focus, especially for Sisko, I think this is a must. You have to watch this episode because he is a flawed character, and this one flaunts those flaws really, really strongly in your face because of how he's treating the blindness, the blind sort of competition that he thinks he has to make up for. Like, this is his moment. But it baffles me to think that there is a person who believes that they could beat this Vulcan team from the start. And so it's his blind, his blindness to what's actually happening. It's you have to just swallow the episode. You just got to watch it. It's not, to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. It doesn't make sense that, are we supposed to watch this episode and assume that the entire crew is only practicing when they're off work? Or is this their job for 2 weeks?
No, they just messaged the Dominion and said, we're going to have to pause the war for 2 weeks. Any other ships that want to come in, the entire senior staff, O'Brien, who is more important than the station core, more important than the Deep Space Nine computer, is out of action for 2 weeks because he's playing baseball. Like, the space station should have fallen apart. Well, it's one of those caveats. Yeah, you've got to put it out of your brain.
I think we're supposed to believe this is just because he says 07:30 at one point in time, and maybe
in the morning,
maybe their shift starts at like 9. So maybe they do have a couple hours to put in before and after work. But that's not really. That's not really like kind of. I guess you kind of leave that part gray.
Yeah.
And this is sort of for this 2 weeks of time in their free time, they just obsessed over baseball to kind of stop thinking about the war and then do something different.
I love to imagine that in the edit, when they finally watched the episode, they were like, really looks like they spent 2 weeks practicing. That's not what we intended in the script. Like, maybe the intent was, they do it in their off hours.
Right.
But when you watch the episode, it's like, really looks like they didn't do any star trekking at all. Were just in the Holosuite for 2 weeks, which is court-martialable.
Just like one moment of them actually doing their jobs,
Yeah,
and then
would have helped.
when
Yeah.
the boss turns around, they like throw a ball across the room just to practice. That would have been kind of funny.
Well, I mean, they kind of do that in Quark's bar where they're throwing stuff to Quark.
But they're running a bar.
Yeah, they're running a bar. There's no like O'Brien with like baseball elbow trying to like tap away at a computer. Man, I wish this Elcar's keypad wasn't like at a right angle for my elbows.
Yeah. I had a thought that I was gonna share too. Let's see if it comes back to me. I don't know that it will. It's fine. I did enjoy some of the training montage stuff, but just to hit hard on this, because like I said, it's my favorite, and I really want to talk about it. I know you want to talk about my dislike of Cisco so that the fans hate me. Like,
no.
I don't know why you would do that to me.
No, I have one more thought on that, but it's
do we do that
protective.
and then the other thing, or do we do the other thing and then come back to Cisco?
Let's do your other thing.
Yeah, let's do
you
that.
Won't forget it. Yeah.
So it's Odo, like another character that I don't have a lot of history with, but that I do remember some Odo things.
Yeah.
I remember that Odo has a bucket.
He does.
I remember that I think I've seen an episode where he died. Right? Like skipping ahead in the timeline. Or he was really, really dry.
Yes. You are remembering.
He was like scaly, or like he was having a rough time.
Correct.
And I remember like feeling for this character that has no facial expression, which is such a testament to the actor.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and like the emotion that they're able to convey with body language and the music and camera angles and all of that stuff. So I do like my words I pull for Odo are like loyalty, command. He's someone who's in charge, respected, and then like mysterious. He's a very mysterious individual, but also like very traditional. I have this like memory of him doing things very like by the book, or anyway, those are the things I'm remembering about Odo.
He is lawful neutral.
Yeah.
100%.
So when Cisco comes to him for the job of being the umpire, I was really excited because I knew right away that the show was giving this important moment to a character that really would respect it. It wasn't an attempt to usurp their terrible abilities by letting someone from their team, you know, like.
Can you imagine having a shapeshifter on your team? Absolutely should have been on the team. It's ridiculous.
It's wild that the Vulcans didn't say, well, you can't have someone from your own group as the umpire, but maybe they just knew. Anyway, so there's a moment when the
Vulcans?
Nope. It's a woman. Colonel
Kira.
Yeah. See, I did it.
You got it.
So, and she's like walking by the door, and he's practicing how to. And I loved that so much.
Safe.
Like he was really getting into it.
Oh, I love it.
And that was really fun for me.
Yeah.
But then to see him during the baseball game, there's something really powerful that happens sometimes. You just like subconsciously don't even realize it's happening, but like, which I guess is the definition of subconscious. In a moment when this baseball game could just go into utter chaos, to have one character that you can ground into and trust is such a valuable anchor for storytelling. And they did such a great job of setting up Odo as that anchor where I trust Odo. And even when he faults our own team, our guys, you know, I'm okay with that. And that was such a...
You took the point away from us as if you were out there yourself.
Oh my God, that was good.
I could do angry Cisco.
Cisco told him to get back in a bucket or something. Like, what an
asshole.
asshole.
My God. That is the worst line in all of Star Trek. What were you looking at? What were you doing? Regenerating? That's the most brutal. And I know whoever wrote that was chuckling to themselves when they wrote that. But that is a brutal thing to say.
It was so bad.
That is harshness.
So And that again shows Cisco is just off the rails. But when Odo is making the calls and he's doing the things, and then it shifts at some point, they've established that he is a lawful, believable, like foundational part of the show. We're comfortable with that as the viewer.
Yeah.
And then it shows his willingness to still be that, but also allow the team to do what needs to be done. Like he gets to enjoy when Sako
Solok?
Sockboy.
He sends Solok off as well.
Volus,
And he takes a bit more joy in sending it. It's like, yeah,
exactly.
So good.
Yeah.
Odo is, I think, the strongest part of the episode for me. It's the bit that I, like you said, I ground into. I love the Cisco stuff. I really, really do. But Odo is so satisfying.
Yeah.
And the reason he's such a great pick, and you've hinted on this without realizing, maybe it's buried in your subconscious somewhere, but Odo's such a good pick because the space station, Deep Space Nine, was built and run by the Cardassians. And Odo was in charge of security when the Cardassians were running it. So he reported to the Cardassians. He saw the shit that was happening to the Bajorans, but he was just like, they're in charge, so I listened to them. These are the laws. Whether you're Cardassian or Bajoran, you obey the laws and you're great. And he stayed when Bajor and Starfleet took over the space station because he's neutral. So he is used to playing that role of, you give me a set of rules and I don't care who the boss is. I'm not here to make value judgments. I'm here to make sure that the law and the rules are executed perfectly. And so he's the perfect choice for this. And I buy it. I buy it more than Riker having to prosecute Data for not being human and to prove that he's a machine. I buy this more than I buy Riker doing a convincing argument of that.
Yeah. I also love that in my memory, Odo does get emotional and like, you can see him emoting, like maybe you'll see the emotions kind of, but in this episode, when he becomes umpire, you get to see him be like dominantly in charge.
Yes.
And that feels really good too. Like when he stands up to Cisco or when he's making his calls and these kinds of things. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was a really good part of it, but Odo was a major win for me on this one.
No, I completely agree. Circling back to Cisco, I want to
apologize. Oh, okay.
Concede, which is just a fancy way of saying I apologize while holding some ego. I will concede this is not a good episode to introduce people to Deep Space Nine, because the caricature that they have to turn Cisco into in order to get the satisfying ending is not representative of the rest of the show. Also, baseball, not representative of the rest of the show. Also, the rest of the cast being absolute, just physically inadequate in almost every way, not representative of the rest of the show. So yeah, as much as I love it and it's really fun, it's not a good way to introduce somebody to Deep Space Nine at all on any level. Apologies.
No, this would maybe be, if you're going to show 3 episodes or 4 episodes, you would tuck this one in on number 3 and then end on something else for 4.
Yeah, if I'm doing 5, this would be 3 or 4, and then end on a big punch for 5. But genuinely, I have this. I am struggling so much because some of the greatest episodes of Star Trek are in Deep Space Nine, and they've been in your emails for your personal favorite Trek. But I don't want to cover them until Danae has more background and more, because the reason those episodes hit really hard, I honestly believe it's with the added context of who these people are. In the Pale Moonlight specifically, if you don't really appreciate Garrick and you don't really know how dire the Dominion War is, you are not going to appreciate the stakes in the Pale Moonlight. So yeah, it's really challenging to pick out these episodes of Deep Space Nine for us to watch.
I would challenge you to just do it. Because if it's written well, even if it's your first time watching the show, it should have enough clues to like give you enough that you understand at least a little. Like maybe you don't understand everything, but we can never really approach this show in a completist fashion because then we would never watch anything.
Yeah, we're not going to go Season 1, Episode 1, Deep Space Nine continue. And it's not, there are lots of podcasts out there that do that, and they're great. It's not the format that we're going for. So we will end up watching those episodes, and I will just go into them, just be like, the writing has got to just hold up on its own.
Yeah. I'm okay with that. And I think that's a good thing to kind of talk about here. And I also want to say, like, I do push the buttons. Like, I did see Jadzia's a couple of times. I'm like, she's okay. Like, I can see how the audience was telling me that she's like me and that I would like her as a character. And I'm open to seeing more of her. And I also understand that the show has decided in this episode to show me the parts of Sisko that we are supposed to not like. It's going to push our buttons. It's going to press us outside of our comfort zone. It's an interesting first thing to see. But I guess I can understand that his pride has given him this big old Achilles heel for this person that represents a bullying, and not even just the normal kind of bullying that we would experience in our school, but the kind of bullying where a Vulcan has ascended to greatness and continues to use you as an example of failure. And so, I can understand why he would be annoyed. I just don't understand how he would think that he would win this game.
I think it's the number one sin of the episode. Well, that's not true, but I completely agree with you. The really difficult buy-in I have is the fight that Sisko is choosing to pick. And Cassidy spells it out. She's like, why did you pick a fight with a Vulcan? You know, they've got 3 times your strength. And the answer is he was drunk. But the problem is he was young and he was drunk. He's now a captain, not drunk, other than on ego. And he's still... Solok didn't hide anything. This is a program he wrote to team build with his crew of Vulcans. So even if they're on a level playing field, they have the advantage because they've been practicing. I don't know how Sisko thought, through plucky courage and determination, they were ever going to do it. And to the episode's credit, they get obliterated. They get destroyed. But it is hard to not go to Sisko and be like, are you okay? Like, what was your plan here to win? Because it wasn't happening.
Yeah. This episode also tells me that this character loves to hear himself talk.
I will absolutely fight you on that, because I love to hear him talk as well. I will listen to Sisko read, and Avery Brooks, he will read the phone book in reverse alphabetical order, and I will listen.
Boy,
his voice
did he
is
talk.
Incredible. But yes, he did.
He talks a lot.
Yeah, he does. And
he likes to kind of like, it seems like he's the guy that has to, rally the crew and give them the inspirational
like
speech.
He's the captain.
I just don't remember that happening with Picard.
So Picard does the one-on-one speeches. Yeah, he doesn't really do the team building. He does the one-on-one character moments that give a lesson. And then he gets his big voice on when he's confronting somebody on the view screen, or he's confronting an enemy.
Yes. So I really enjoyed how he was Sisko's approach to the very first conversation with Saki Vulcan, because he had this line, and it was something like, "You're welcome to go to a Vulcan space station, however many light years away, if you'd like to."
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like you can do that, or you can do what we have here. And it was clear that Saki was given some digs and trying to
very
go
inefficient.
to him.
Yeah, that's a very inefficient way to repair a warp core. It'll take a week.
Yeah, it seems like it's a really good, actually. Warp cores seem to be very, very difficult.
Seems like something you want to spend some time on fixing.
Which shows us that, that Saki's not a great guy. Not someone to just like immediately be respected. And I immediately respected Sisko because he obviously didn't like him. He still did his business, which he's supposed to do. And he was a little sassy back, but not to the point of just being really like, it wasn't too much. It didn't go too far for me.
No,
the
very
rest of the episode went too far.
Yes.
Him letting his anger and frustration and fear of losing again out on his crew was hard to watch. And it was also interesting that the person that they gave the role of companion to, his wife, so his actual companion, to solve that, to give us the backstory, to kind of help us understand why he's so angry. And I loved that switch, the humor switch of him saying, promise, don't tell. And then the very next thing, she's like, I told him that I wasn't going to tell.
And that's what I love about Cassidy, because Cisco is intimidating, like both physically, verbally, like characteristically. He is like, I mean, Rom cowers in fear. Nog respects him. Everyone is like very respectful of Cisco, and Cassidy calls him out so often. There's so often the person closest to you is allowed to call you out and has that permission to, I know you better than anyone else, step down, I don't care how big you are. And she brings him to task a lot and is very often his moral compass.
So like, I thought that it was humorous, but I also was confused by it, going, oh, okay, so she isn't respecting her husband's wish to keep this private. You know, that was a little strange. I don't think they're married
at this point.
I see.
Just to anyone shouting at us via email right now, they are. I don't think they're married yet.
What did they say?
They're definitely together for sure.
Oh, okay. I absolutely 100% assumed incorrectly. Because my note says he's getting a back rub from wife, but there was no, like, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but they're either way, they're definitely together.
Because his back was a quote, a minefield of bruised muscles.
Yeah.
So I understood that the show needed to get the information to the crew so that they had more of an understanding of the motivation of their captain, but it still points out Cisco's pride issue.
Yeah, 100%. He won't use that to motivate them. And it's such a great motivator. Like,
it is.
Open yourself up. Like, let them see that bit of vulnerability. Like, Cassidy nails it. Let them see what you're fighting for. Because right now they think you're a dick.
He is.
Yeah, he is. Right now they are correct that you are a dick.
Like, imagine the HR that had to be happening.
Oh,
like, just the ideas of, I'm being forced to play baseball.
Yeah.
I'm not having a good time. He pushes his son. When his son doesn't do well, he shoves him.
Oh, yeah, the physical contact.
And I'm just thinking to myself, how is he not reported that this is a bit too much? Which is why I think it has to have all been in their off time. You know, their 2 weeks of, you get their little
the problem is, you're addressing Kira as Colonel and making everybody call you Captain. You're making this a work thing. Like, they should call you something else. Otherwise, you are absolutely abusing them at work.
Yeah. But that's again why I think we say to an episode like this, you just have to have fun.
You just gotta let it happen and have fun. So the Jadzia thing, you did notice at some point.
Oh yes, I did.
So when did that twig for you that we weren't looking at Jadzia, but we were looking at Dax?
Oh yes. Okay. Well, I wasn't sure it was Dax until right now. So now I know.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure. So I noticed that this new character to me, we'll call her not Zia, has nope.
Wait,
that doesn't sound good.
No.
I was saying Jadzia, not Jadzia, and I went not Zia.
Yep,
let's not do that. That's not my best name. We're gonna just skip over that. Okay. What's her? Well, just tell me her name, maybe.
No. Her name is Esri.
Thank you, chat. Thank you, Sarah.
Not Zia.
Esri. So Esri says something. She says old man at one point in time.
Cisco says old man to Esri.
Yeah. And I'm like, old man? That's what Jadzia used to call him. So that's
what he called Jadzia, because Jadzia's previous host was Cisco's mentor.
Right. Was an old man.
And he was an old man.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then I thought, oh, okay. If this is Jadzia's version, whatever 0.0, which I forgot was named Dax. If this is Dax, how did that happen? So I guess the worm was transferred.
Correct.
Obviously successfully.
Yes.
Into a younger version of so now I'm like, oh, what happened behind the scenes? You know, was there drama? Was the actor playing Jadzia not offered like a redo? Did the audience not respond well? Did they get pregnant? Because sometimes women are fired for being pregnant. Like, what was? This is interesting. Like, what happened in that way? Is it a sore spot? So, like, my brain goes, and that's not what we're here. We don't need to get into like the tea of it all.
I want to get into the tea tonight. I want to spill the tea with you.
But it's interesting because they have this way to carry forward this character.
Yes.
Who is, as I'm watching it now, every single time I see Esri for the rest of the show, I'm wondering if that is Dax, not remembering the name Dax.
Yes.
But I'm like, okay, how does Worf feel about that?
I
mean, they obviously aren't talking to each other at all. She seems to be very young and vibrant, vibrantly energized, which is great. Oh, energized. That's funny. So she was sort of a central character in a lot of the scenes for the youthful joy energy kind of vibe. So I immediately hate her, of course, but no, she seemed really interesting. Did she do the backflip to catch the ball?
That is one. Did you get the setup and payoff on that? So it's a blink and you miss it line, and I've only picked it up on this watch through. But when they're doing the practice and they're all injured, Esri says one of my hosts, Emily, was an Olympic gymnast or whatever. So why am I struggling when I used to be a gymnast and my body can't remember, like my legs can't remember this? And then at the end of the game, she does a gymnast move. She does a backflip off of the thing because some muscle memory has kicked in and she's able to do it.
That's right.
I've only noticed that on this run. I love doing this show because I get to, I'm actively watching and sinning. So that is a great payoff that they don't really highlight too much.
No, I kind of missed that a bit, but also I wasn't aware because they don't do the thing at the beginning of the show where they go through like the little Rolodex and they're like, don't forget that this person used to be all these 50,000 people.
Right. Well, the interesting thing about Esri is that yes, Jadzia does die at the end of season 6.
So just died.
Just died. This is one Esri. This actor has one season as Dax because yes, there was behind the scenes drama, and Jadzia left the show quite unhappily. So yeah, and it took a long time before they would come back to the table in any form and talk. And yeah, there's if you haven't seen the documentary What We Leave Behind, which is the Deep Space Nine documentary, there is an incredible interview where they all get together and air it out, and she's like, you guys hurt me, you didn't stick up for me, I left the show miserable. And also talking about Esri, who had to come in and replace the person who'd been playing Dax for 6 years, and like how it felt for her to join for one season. It's incredible behind the scenes stuff that happened that yes is for another podcast, I think.
Ooh boy. Well, I'm just assuming, let me make an assumption here. Was it anything to do with her being just a woman and being talked to inappropriately?
Yep, there was definitely a big element of that. There's definitely some sexism that came into play, if all accounts are to be believed, which I think there are. And it was a very unfortunate departure that could have been avoided, honestly.
Well, good for her for leaving.
Good for, like, she stuck to her guns. She left, and I can't imagine how hard
it has to be hard. Well, especially when you feel a responsibility to deliver a character for an audience. You know, I think about this sometimes when I'll watch Critical Role, for example. You've got these amazing voice actors who are portraying these characters every single week for 4 hours in this Dungeons and Dragons style where they're doing an entertainment thing and they're just giving it their all, and then they're committed to the character possibly dying. But at some point that has to come to an end. They can't just keep being that character. They have to have something, and either the Dungeon Master is going to end their campaign and then they're going to say goodbye. But there's just this sadness as an audience when you're like, oh, that was my favorite character and I don't get to see them anymore. Like I cried a couple of times knowing that different various shows were going to end when I was really liking a specific character. And that's a really powerful thing. But when you are in a world that is dominated by men and there's a lot of inappropriate things that are said or done, and you're kind of expected just to deal with it because, and again, I'm making a lot of assumptions here and I'm making a lot of statements here, but that are kind of more broad, but like, you're lucky to have this job. So just take it.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
Even all the way down to the things that I've experienced as a woman in like the working world. Thankfully not my job now. I have an amazing team that I work with, all male team that I work with. It's incredible. But like, it's just wild that you have to have such a strong sense of self to kind of go, I'm going to leave this character behind.
Yeah.
And then the show has to find a way to go, okay, fuck, what do we do now?
And honestly, Deep Space Nine got fucking lucky that Esri is as good as she is. Like, I've completely forgotten the name of the actor.
For Esri?
Yeah, for Esri.
Well, while you look it up, I will
Mhm.
say, and just to kind of shift away from the serious, like to go back into the show part of it, it's so interesting to think that Jadzia was just kind of killed off, and
Mhm.
now we have this new version of Dax, and it's just sort of like everyone is in episode 4 here.
Yeah.
I would have never known that they had any kind of like relationship. Esri's just chilling. She's just straight like,
Yeah.
this is my new Bob. What's going
Well,
on?
yeah, it's basically just a new haircut. There's so much I could get into about it, but Nicole DeBoer, she's great. She's incredible. She encapsulates this version of Dax so well. Like, it is such a credit to her that season 7 doesn't feel super weird because she's so great as Dax. And the reason, like, I accidentally love this arc because the relationship with Cisco feels intentional, because you start with old Curzon, who was Cisco's mentor,
Right.
into Jadzia, who is now Cisco's basically equal, and then into Esri, who is very inexperienced and very young, who Cisco mentors. Like,
oh, it's
that
like
is,
a full circle thing.
it gives me tingles, this accidental full circle inversion of what their roles are, as if it was intentional.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's sad how it came about, but it works beautifully for Deep Space Nine.
Yeah. What an interesting kind of character to have on your crew.
Yeah.
A being that can transfer. So you're not necessarily losing, like if it was a human, they'd be going, okay, how do we get this brain into the next
It's
thing?
all,
You know,
it's contrived, and it's like you don't buy it. Oh, it's a clone, great. But this is introducing Doctor Who into Star Trek, because essentially they regenerate and they have the
Yeah.
same memories, but they're
Yeah.
a different character.
so
And the stuff with Worf is fascinating, like how they deal with that
Oh.
transition. Of course, because he's lost his wife, but has he? Is so interesting.
Well,
so
I'm
interesting.
glad that they explore that, because that would be
Yeah.
a really interesting part of being a Daxian.
Yes, yeah. We'll leave it with that. Yep.
What are the wormies called?
Trill.
That's it.
The Trill. Yeah.
So, which I still think is one of the most fascinating sci-fi creatures that Star Trek has.
Completely agree.
I think
Borrowed from
Tribbles
Doctor
is
Who.
number one, though.
It's Tribbles and then Trill. It's really the T,
Ts.
the TR,
Mhm.
really the TRIs. Yeah.
And the Talins.
And the Talins of the world. So yeah, I guess the final moment of the episode I wanted to just circle back to, because it didn't work for you. I may be a bad human because I loved it. So and it is just this intrinsic seeing the big bad get taken down. And yeah, they gang up on him, but the way he walks into it and the stuff they call out, I really love, because the way so often we're like, man, that sounded emotional. Like,
Yeah.
that sounded really, really heated.
Yes.
And they're calling it out, because there's like, I hear it. I hear some irritation, and calling out a Vulcan for being emotional. That's just a way to tick them off.
Yeah, it was
and
like
he calls everyone humans as
it was
well, and
like,
they call him out.
A hint of anger, a
Mm.
touch of jealousy. Let me see my note. A bitterness. Is he always this emotional?
Oh, it's so mean. Is he always this emotional?
And then he says something about this human game of taunting, and then they say all the intelligence and still doesn't know what a human is.
Did I leave my spots at home today?
Mhm.
And I love that. You are trying to manufacture a triumph where none exists. And Cisco's like, yep, it's exactly what we're doing. This is our version of triumphant, and they hate that.
He toasts to it.
It's the only way they can win. It is the only victory they can have. And to write yourself into that, for me, was extremely satisfying, because I don't like sports episodes. I don't like underdog stories, because I'm always waiting, like, well, you can find some contrived way to let them win, or you do the shocking thing and they lose, and neither really is satisfying for me. This ending is super satisfying, because they get destroyed, but they find a genuine victory that is so much more important than the Vulcans winning.
I think that it is a wonderful win, but that the ultimate win would be Cisco printing something that reflects the baseball game as an example of humans triumph, and then he publishes that.
Yes.
And then that becomes like he needs to publish it so that it
Yes.
comes full circle.
And here's the video record of Solok being confronted and how emotional he got, and that's how he ends every single paper he writes. Yeah, that's perfect. Anything else before we go and do some pips?
No, I think I appreciate the conversation. Deep Space Nine is an untapped part of our Captain's Pod, world. And so it's really fun because, and I know not everyone obviously who listens can join the live chat, but it's really interesting to be a part of the community that has so much experience with Deep Space Nine, and we'll like bring up references during the show and kind of like give more context. So I really appreciate everyone who listens to the show who kind of understands, again, our format is just to jump in and talk about it as it happens.
I love it. I love it so much. And I always feel a guilt that we're not, I personally am not representing DS9, which is, it's up there. It's like my second or third favorite Trek. Strange New Worlds now just is getting up there. And I love Deep Space Nine so much. And there's so much to respect about it. A couple of things I wanted to mention. We have the Christopher Pike Medal for Valor.
Yes, we do.
Pre-Strange New Worlds, the movies that introduced us to Christopher Pike. This is a deep callback. This could have so easily been the Captain Kirk Medal for Honor, but they chose Christopher Pike, and that has aged like a fine wine today.
Yeah, I liked that. Yeah, especially watching Strange New Worlds and be like, oh.
It's so good. Rom, this is great. Thank you to Flyboy for sending this in. The actor that plays Rom, Max Odenchik, or I cannot say his last name.
Yep.
Rom, he was a semi-pro baseball player. And he has to be the worst.
Oh, that's so funny.
That's so great.
That's so good.
He's right-handed. They force him to play left-handed because it's the only way he could be convincingly bad at baseball.
That's so brilliant.
So fucking brilliant.
Oh, that's a good one, Flyboy.
Oh, thank you, Flyboy, for that. And someone else did mention it in the live chat as well. So thank you for mentioning it. But it's so great. He's a semi-pro baseballer, and he has to just be bottom of the list. Just incredible. Yeah, love that so much. Okay, with that.
Pips?
Wait, pips. How many pips, Ambassador?
Yeah, I'm going to give it 4 pips. I think it does everything a show needs to do. Just because I don't like baseball and I think Cisco's a dick doesn't mean that I'm going to I can't fault the show for that.
No, yeah, absolutely fair.
There's so many things to enjoy about this episode, especially if you love Deep Space Nine. They do such a good job, I feel, of developing the story, even from their outfits not they're in their like Starfleet uniforms, then they're in mismatching uniforms, and then they come together at the end with their own uniforms. There's lots of ways that they do really good storytelling in this. With even though they suck and they're terrible at it, they do a good job of showing what team is like. They have these different characters. We get to see all these different sets. We get to have like this interesting kind of moment, and I can't fault the episode for doing that. I think they did a good job of representing baseball. Justin is a huge baseball fan. And so I've been around baseball for the last, 15 years or something, and more than I ever was before. So I've always I'll see it and I'll hear, him talking about it. He does fantasy baseball. There's always conversation. So I knew all of the terminology and stuff. And I felt like it was fun to kind of watch them, like when they were doing the arm thing where they were trying to tell him to bunt.
Oh, the tap on the shoulder and then and everyone
just like doing it. And they're just, and it's just fun. It's fun to watch them fuck something up that that most people who like baseball are familiar enough that they're like, yeah, I know what this is. So even though my brain shut down, like a huge part of my brain shut off, I can't deny that it was a really fun episode for people who are kind of more designed for it. I don't think they did anything that was really wrong in this episode. I didn't feel like it was. I don't think they did anything that would make it be less than 4 for me. I can't think of anything that was like, man, this was really, really messed up. They even didn't say you have to do this during your job, because we can still assume that it was on the off hours.
Yeah, we can make that leap, which I'd never thought of before. You can make that leap. This is why I love doing the show with you. I was slightly nervous about doing a sports ball episode, but I love the respect that you have for a good story and how like
Yeah.
I could give you pretty much any genre and you'll fish out a satisfying story in there, which is really, really cool.
They just know how to write good shit.
They do. The Deep Space Nine writers were on another level. It's 4 pips for me as well. I love it. It's fun. I have a cognitive dissonance with how shitty Cisco is, but the payoff is fantastic for me. And I get it. We are human. We are fallible. Fine. But yeah, 4 pips for me. I love the heck out of this episode. And I don't like sports.
I don't either.
At all.
I don't either.
Don't like sports.
Let's watch Dungeons and Dragons together.
Let's go.
Let's play Minecraft.
Yes.
Let's play Baldur's Gate.
Yes.
Let's
Purge
watch
the baseball.
Yeah, let's just like I don't need to watch sports. I need to watch like Murder She Wrote or something shitty.
Yes, let's do it.
Let's go watch Top Chef.
Yes. Okay, with that, we're not going to do any sins. We're going to go watch Top Chef. See you later, guys.
Yeah, bye.
To beam out. Okay. I don't want to hurt myself. So did I actually miss any good things that I was going to say? I got
I wonder if the cards are playing.
Oh shit, there was one I wanted to mention and I didn't. Gosh dang it. God,
are you yanking me back?
I'm yanking you back.
Okay, what is it?
One final thing. This is great. I love this so much. Welcome to the official anthem of the United Federation of Planets.
Oh, I thought about that when they're playing the music.
When they're introduced and they've got their caps on. Written, composed for this episode. The first time that you ever hear it. So you get we now have an official anthem for
there you go.
The Federation of Planets. The United Federation of Planets. However, there is something inside of me, and I'm not saying this would be a good idea, but I think it would have aged well. What if the anthem had been the Star Trek theme?
That'd be so stupid.
No, it would be stupid in the moment, maybe.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to dismiss your love.
Just shut me fucking down so hard.
I think it would be stupid.
I think it would have been stupid too, but I think it would have aged really well.
No, because no, stop. Listen, that song.
In universe. The song now exists in universe.
Which doesn't make any fucking sense because
of course it does.
Then they know they're being observed by us.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
100%.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Because the United Federation of Planets theme isn't the Star Trek theme. It's a piece of music that was written that in our universe is the Star Trek theme, but in their universe, it's just, that's the United Federation of Planets theme.
Chat's also reminded me that Boimler hummed it.
The TNG theme exists. Yes.
Oh, that's right.
So it would have aged well because in Lower Decks, Boimler is now humming the UFP theme. There's no way you get away with it in 1998. It would have been eye roll.
Oh yeah.
Central. Everybody would have may as well have looked to camera.
Here's what you do. Okay. Set the stage. Do the thing that happened when I learned about Superman. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know this story. Okay. Yeah.
So this was a couple years ago. You were here. We were working. And you had your like epic music going. If you don't know this about Ian, when he works, sometimes he needs to play epic music because it lifts him up. And he's got this epic music playing. I've never heard it before. It's fucking awesome. And so it gets this one moment. We had just finished talking, I think on BTS at the time. I don't remember. It was a while ago. I don't know if it was BTS though.
I can't remember.
Anyway, we just finished talking about entrance music.
Yes.
And so the music is swelling and all this stuff is happening. I'm just like, man, this is so fucking awesome. That's my theme music.
Let me hum it. I was at my computer and bum 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 bum.
I was like, wow, that's good entrance music. This is the one that I pick for myself. And Ian's like,
So you're going to pick that for yourself. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Do you want to know what it is?
And I was like, oh, it is already something?
Yeah, it's already a thing. Yeah, it's Superman's entrance music. Amazing. Incredible.
Well, similarly, when you listen to the theme for some of the Star Trek stuff, it's like the person who wrote it, the orchestral genius.
Yes. Jerry Goldsmith for a lot of it.
It's like part of a bigger song.
Correct.
And I did not know that. I just hear this part of the song.
90 seconds of an entire 8-minute thing.
So go with me here.
Okay.
What if there's a way to tie that song in with the song that you want to be part of the world, and it's just an extended version? So we're only hearing a little clip. Maybe it is the same song.
Yeah. Okay. I'm in.
Like that happy. Yeah. You following me?
Yeah, that's how you tie it in. It is. You only get the national anthem. You just get a little bit. Yeah. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
It was on BTS. Thank you, chat. Oh
Yeah.
man, how do I remember that stuff?
Man,
Yes,
so
no, I do not often live in this world.
Amazing.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'll get a segue out of that.
Okay.
Holy shit.
Holy
shit. Okay, with that, I've already done that bit. This is the part of the show where we re-engage our sin brains, remind ourselves that no TV show is without sin, even our beloved Star Trek. I will start by saying I would have loved to have brought Justin in on this podcast, Chris, Aaron, Jonathan, Jeremy, our colleagues. Any of them would have been fucking excellent, because I can't do the baseball sins. I've had some sent to me. I don't even know if I can read them in a way that makes sense, because I don't understand the baseball sins. But suffice to say, there are lots and lots of baseball sins in this episode. We will apply 100 sins purely to cover the baseball deficit.
Well, there you go.
Ambassador.
And basically anybody but us. Sorry about that.
Yeah, literally two worst people on the team to talk about. It's almost like we do a Star Trek show for a reason.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about it. I really didn't have a lot of sins this episode, because I feel like our conversation sometimes will answer them, or the show will answer them. So like, for example, I think one of the sins is like the Vulcans having a full Starfleet, like a Starfleet ship dedicated to Vulcans, doesn't seem right to me, but
no,
that's a quick one
on so many levels.
But like one of the silly sins that I was thinking about is when Cisco realizes that Rom somehow needs to be, on the field, because that's the right thing to do, even if they lose. Or
correct.
knowing that they're going to lose, they've already lost.
Exactly. Yeah.
They get dressed way too fast.
Rom, yeah.
It happens so quickly. They just go to the dugout and then sneeze.
They called a time. No. Cisco goes to O'Brien and calls a timeout, and he's already dressed.
He's already dressed. Yeah, yes. It's very, very fast.
Yeah, that's
and
fair.
Those pants look very tight,
Are baseball pants supposed to be tight? I don't know.
They're in stretchy fabric, but you got to get those on. You got to tuck the shirt in the right way. You got to get the socks on the right way. You got to get your shoes on. You have to tie your shoes.
Yeah, you've got to get that neckline above those big Vulcan ears.
You have to make sure
that Ferengi ears and the Ferengi forehead.
Yep. You have to make sure that your buttons on the front go down and match the seam.
Oh, okay.
Of your because you got to so.
There was a sin removal in the chat earlier that they have baseball caps specifically big enough for Ferengi heads.
Yeah.
Which is so great.
Yeah.
Love that.
But mostly I'm going to be in the chat for sins today.
Do it.
Yeah.
I have starred some absolute corkers from the live chat.
Let's go.
So my top of the list was the Starfleet Vulcans thing. Episode is an entire they have time for this. I know we mentioned it could be in their off hours, but it's really, really hard to pause the Dominion War when I don't know if I think it's a few episodes after this or at some point they're looking at casualty reports every day. They post all of the deaths every in a public area. It's hard to take a break and play baseball, but I know there's context for it. In No Man's Land on Christmas Day, they played football between the Germans and the English. I know it happens, but it's tricky. It's tricky to take a break and do this. And it's especially tricky when the Vulcans, Solok is it's going to take a week to repair the warp core. Well, that sucks. That's a really long time. However, there are 2 weeks of training. So, okay, that's 1 week to repair the warp core and an additional week. So it's not even they can't go anywhere. So I guess they're going to be here for a week. They may as well practice. They have to choose to be there for an additional week to make this game happen as well. So there's a lot of have time for this.
Ooh, I did think of one. This one is, I'm going to say I am 0% confident in, but I had this question and I would definitely research it. And it is a baseball thing.
Okay.
I think that Nog,
yes,
the little kid is that's my dad, that guy.
Yes.
I think all he had to do was just step on home plate and he would have been out.
Somebody mentioned that in the live
if
chat.
You're touching the plate and you have the ball and they didn't touch the plate, they're out.
I think you've nailed it. I
And-
think that's right.
And so, although it is fun to watch him go down in the dugout and try to like get all these very stoic characters out, and that is a funny beat.
Oh yeah.
If you watch baseball, you'll see the person that's at the home plate. They've got their foot on the plate and they've got their hand out, and as long as their foot is touching the plate and it happens before the player touches the plate, they're out. So
I've never heard you talk about sports so
well,
much.
it's because
just
of
osmosis.
Justin.
Yeah, osmosis.
I've learned things. Anyway, I had that thought during the show. I don't know if
I'm
it's
so
true
impressed.
or not, but I
believe
think
you.
that's a sin.
I believe you.
Yeah.
Flyboy, I don't know if this is the same thing, but Flyboy has said the runner who missed the plate walks back to the dugout. By rule, he's out since he made no attempt to go back and touch the plate. No need for Nog to tag the whole team. I have no idea if that's what you just said, but there's definitely a sin in that moment that is now out in the ether.
Chat saying nope. It would have been a forced out if all the bases were loaded, only a runner on third. I don't know if that's. Listen to the baseball people. I'm trying.
I want some loaded jacket potatoes, some loaded fries, something like that's all I can think about. With loaded. I am starving.
Can we go eat?
Yeah, we should do
what
that.
If we both just like put our headphones down and like walked out of the room and just kept the show going and then came back with like noodles?
I would confidently say we would still have double-digit viewers.
All the sins, exactly.
Because I think you love us that much.
Thank you. I want to share Sarah's burger. Yeah, and a loaded tots. Thanks, guys. Yes,
I want a burger, but Aaron won't take me to get a burger because it's too far away.
Shit, let's stay focused.
Sorry, let's go. Okay, this is a great one. This is a classic. Got to have the main casts in. They hold tryouts to be on this baseball team. There is no way, especially given the level of talent that is on screen, that the space station doesn't have anybody better to be on the team. So are the tryouts for just nobody, like just the people that we see on screen? Like there must have been better equipped to play baseball, more familiar with baseball to be on the team. It is a huge coincidence that it happens to be our main cast who are the best people to be on the team. And I get it, it's a TV show, but it's a sin. Linked to that, because it is very, very linked. Nope, I've just forgotten it. Shit,
fuck. It was such a great epic thing. You were going like full on Cisco.
Yeah, I went full on. It came back. They are, apart from Rom and Lita, they are all in the army. Okay, Navy, whatever. Starfleet is a professional organization in that vein. They've had to go through basic training. They've had to go through physical training. They fight Cardassians and Klingons and Romulans and the Jem'Hadar and the Borg. They throw phasers at each other when you're looking after someone else's cat.
But you're not supposed to throw phasers.
You're not supposed to throw phasers. They should not be this physically inept. When you see them throwing the ball to each other as limply as possible, you're adults. Like you are adults with military training, physical training. You should not be this bad at throwing. You can be bad at the technical aspects of baseball, but you should have some hand-eye coordination.
Wow, that is really intense. You know, like really you just expect that they're going to be good at like all sports.
Not all sports. Just throwing a ball, I think, is okay.
But it's a tiny ball.
I think that makes it easier.
It's not.
I think they should be like. I just think they should be better.
I don't know. The hard thing here is I can't say, well, then you go try because you're not in the army.
I know one of them. I would be bad. That's fine. I am the Rom on this team.
Slab wants to point out that half the team are civilians, so
this is why I said excluding them, specifically the ones in Starfleet, they should be more physically adept.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna steal one from chat. Let's go into chat. From David Sin, considering what a condescending asshole Solok, what's his name, is, Cisco shows great restraint by agreeing to play baseball against his crew and not just punching him in the face.
Amazing. That's fair. It's absolutely fair.
Here's one from Flyboy. Cisco manipulating an entire merchant fleet schedule just to get his wife in the game. Isn't there a war going on?
Completely true. Yeah, completely. I mean, I'm amazed that Cassidy puts up 0 fight. Do you know how precious it is when you're both working to find time off with a loved one, and she's just like, I mean, that's love. Like, marry that woman. But I also think that she should be fighting him for some time off. This is a war.
Sin from Slab. No way this game is 10-0 in the 9th. It should have been a run ruled after the 5th.
I love that. I don't know what any of those.
I love
it.
It makes me sound great when I say it.
Make some things up and I'll read it, because it absolutely. I believe
Don't
you.
say that.
Yeah, I believe that that's a baseball thing. Just load up the points with the bats and shit. This is a sin sent in by Flyboy. And I really, really love this one. I hadn't noticed it. There's a Bajoran tradition where your first name is actually your last name, and your second name is your given name. So Kira's name is Kira Nerys, but it would be rude to call her Nerys, because that's her, what we would call a given name, like a first name. So she would be Miss Kira. Does that make sense? It's inverted to how we do it.
Yeah.
So on the baseball shirts, there was, I think it was
N something.
Kira was wait, hang on. Which way around is it?
I don't know.
I'm now lost.
I can try to look at it.
Wait, let's read I'm going to read it. Blah, blah. This is from Flyboy. The two Bajoran players have their given names, Lita and Nerys, on their uniforms, indicating that whoever made the uniforms was unaware of the Bajoran tradition of surname first, given name last. So yeah, they had Lita and Nerys on there because they would have read the cast list and said, oh, their name is Kira Nerys. So they put Nerys on the back of the shirt, and it should have been Kira.
Well, that's interesting because there's a shot, I can see it. Like I just looked up some stuff. There's one shot that says Kira on the back, and there's another one that says Nerys on the back.
That's
so I think
amazing.
they messed it up.
So they fixed it and then got it wrong. Yeah, I love that. So yeah, great eye, Flyboy, and amazed that you found that image today. That's amazing. So yeah, I love that because that's clearly a disconnect between the costumers, and they obviously caught it at some point. So I love the nerd that caught it and offered made them do a reprint as well. Love that.
Here's a sin off from Sean for the huge baseball caps for the Ferengi.
Yeah, love that.
Here's a sin removal from Sci-Fi Brony. I appreciate that Rom has the self-awareness to know that he sucks and shouldn't be on the team, and not to let that drag down the rest of the team on his behalf. I like that too. I thought that was a really interesting part of the episode. Like the whole team is ready to quit. Yes. And he's like, please don't. Go have fun. I really do suck.
It's one of my notes that I forgot to mention, but it is a beautiful moment. Like they could have rallied around him, but he is selfless to a fault. And he's like, no, I want my team to succeed. I want you to do this. I don't want to be the reason that you can't, because I do suck. Okay. And that mutiny, a mutiny in Starfleet, everyone, would have been really interesting to see, but it would have completely changed the trajectory, and it gives Cisco an opportunity to be more of a dick as well. I have another one sent in from Wandering. I don't have a lot of my own because I love this episode so much. Wandering says you need this is a baseball sin that could be right, but I don't understand it. You need O'Brien to anchor the second half of the lineup? What? Anchoring the second half of the lineup is not a thing.
I like anchors.
Get it.
Sin from Slab, another score sin. Score should have been 100-0, not 10-1.
Sounds great. I agree.
Sin off from Flyboy for the actors playing baseball with alien prosthetics on.
Love that.
Sin from Slab about the Holosuite that fits 20 people.
Okay, I've got something for this. This was David Ellis's episode. He sent it in. He also sent in an email with his one biggest sin, and I'm going to read it and then argue with it because I disagree.
Oh, fun. This is going to be great, everybody. Let me just sit back for this one.
Especially when the person on the other side of this argument isn't here to defend themselves. So I got the mic. Sorry, guys. Quark's holosuites aren't big, say 30 feet by 30 feet, to be generous. In this episode, there are 2 baseball teams, 18 players.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is that on a ship or is because we're on a space station, right?
Yeah, holosuites are bigger than holodecks.
Gotcha. Okay,
yes. Okay. So I think they're being David's being generous, even acknowledging that it's a holosuite and not a holodeck.
Okay.
I don't understand why holosuites have to be bigger for this very reason. It doesn't matter. That's 20 people. Sorry, that's 20 people in a 20 by 20 space there. And I don't know where we're getting the 20 by 20 space from, but it's okay.
It's okay.
There's a lot of people in a small room is what we're saying. There is no way they could be running into each other and whacking each other with balls and such, no matter how much holodeck trickery one can imagine. It's probably the single biggest holodeck sin in all of Star Trek, including Fairhaven, which is a whole other thing. So I
just want to point out that
Yeah.
the person that you're about to battle is in chat.
I love
so
it. I
have
knew he
fun.
would be.
Let's do it.
I think the lead that we've buried there is holodeck trickery. The way I understand it, and we've had this debate so many times, and I love it so much. The ground beneath you is also moving, like, or either you're not moving, and you're on like those pads that detect your motion and then move the scenery around you. Also, if something is beyond the parameters of the holodeck, it is then projected to be further away. So you just like imagine a green screen. You then don't see the physical person. You're seeing them projected through trickery to be further and further away. And I think because everything is based on light, I think there's a way to do it. So I feel like you can, through projecting different things, have people be very, very spread apart and have lots of people in different locations and not see them all and not bumping into each other through moving the floor, rotating the walls, perhaps, and projecting light trickery. I think it's possible.
Yeah.
Like a treadmill. Yeah.
Potentially.
I get it though. I get it. Like you're still in a physically limited location.
Are you saying that even the ball and the bat were a holodeck?
As soon as it hit, well, they I think it would have to be with a holographic
there's no
ball.
physical ball. So I could be like 2 feet from you, but in our imaginational world, we've run 20 feet apart, and I throw a ball to you, and even though we're only 2 feet away, we would both be seeing that we're actually 20 feet away in the imaginary world. And so you would catch the ball in this big old fashion and somehow not smack me in the face.
Yeah, I think what happens is that in reality, you're 6 foot apart, but visually you're 30 foot apart. You throw the ball, it gets energized away. A projection replaces it to make it look further away. And then when it comes back into where it should be, it gets rematerialized where it should be in midair, and then you catch it.
I like that Captain Rebel's like, this should be on Mythbusters.
The more I'm talking about it, the less likely I think this is. I think this will be very difficult unless the holodeck is the size of a baseball field.
Now I'm imagining Tom Paris telling the Doctor in Voyager that a hologram is light with no physical aspect to it, only for the Doctor to then slap him.
It's a great moment. It's so good.
That was from JCD. Here's one from Slab on this conversation. The Enterprise holodeck is bigger than the Holosuite in Deep Space Nine that we see, but there may be a Holosuite we don't see that's used for special occasions, weddings, baseball games, orgies, etc.
So I always assumed the Holosuite didn't necessarily mean bigger, but it had a wider access to programs, and it had like the programming was better and more enhanced.
Yeah.
Not that they're necessarily bigger spaces.
Yeah, Andrew says, but how do you alter everyone's individual perception unless you're wearing goggles and changing it?
Oh, it's lights and mirrors.
That's the easy answer. Lights and mirrors. Everyone has to look at a very specific space on the wall, and you're just actually standing still in a room.
Yeah, projecting the image on the wall works. Getting rid of the person that's actually 2 feet next to you, like changing that is difficult. Removing them from your visual field is the really tricky bit.
It's not lights and mirrors, says Eights. It's just magic.
There we go. I don't know why I didn't think about that. Yeah.
I really do love talking about this stuff because this is sci-fi, but there's so much of Star Trek that's attempted to be explained in like a way that we're like, yeah, this is possible.
Of course, I want everything in Star Trek to be okay, but if you had this, you could do this. And yes, I'm absolutely 5-lighting everybody at the minute. That's an amazing adjective. It's true. The more I think about it, the more it breaks down. If you have 40 people in there, I don't know how you're not bumping into each other.
No, you would be having
physically
broken noses.
Exist. Yeah, you're physically there.
Maybe a force field around the individuals projecting their own perspectives. Perhaps.
I mean, yeah, it's never specified like that.
Sorted. You're right. All right, let's get back to the recording part of it so that we can wrap the actual podcast.
Oh, I have no idea how I segue out of that now.
Well, you end the sins.
There we go. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't I think of that? Okay, that's it for our sins. Thank you, everybody who submitted sins. You can absolutely submit your own sins as well. And you can also submit what your favorite 5 episodes of Star Trek are, or any of your favorite episodes, the ones that you hold dear to your heart, not necessarily the best, not critically acclaimed, the ones that you watch to make you feel happy when you want to watch some Star Trek. You can send all of that to captainspod@cinemasins.com. You can join our lovely Discord, discord.gg/cinemasins, and go to the Captain's Pod channel, where we have a buzzing community that mainly shares memes, and it's incredible, and I love it. So next week, anybody who listened to the outtakes last week will know that I did a certain listener dirty by calling them the wrong Sarah, and I apologize to all of the Sarahs of the world. Next week, we will be doing another Sarah's episode. It's going to be back to TOS with Journey to Babel, Season 2, Episode 10. We're going from silly Star Trek into what is one of the most popular episodes of the original series. Yeah, Journey to Babel, Season 2, Episode 10. And until then, I'm Captain Ian, and it's death to the opposition from me.
Oh no, I forgot to look at my stuff.
I'm almost there. Maybe I'll find one if I keep reading my notes that are way too typey.
Oh, he loves his speeches. That's what I wrote down.
Not a quote.
Not a quote. I can quote myself. No. What an asshole. Cisco is a dickhole.
He's not a dickhole.
That was after I can't play. Smartest thing you said all week. Get out of here. Walk. You're out from me.
You're out of here.
No, that wasn't Odo. That was Cisco kicking
Oh,
out poor
yeah,
little...
yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Dick. That was my quote.
Oh, was it? Sorry, do it again. I thought you were just rambling.
Okay. Yeah, and it's that man is going to get a painful lesson in humanity from me.
Live long and Podspur. I love it. It's amazing.
Yale.
I know more about baseball than I ever knew before.
It's not too much that we don't really know much at all.
No, I mean
So-
based on the emails that
Oh,
I
I
was
see.
sent and the
Okay.
live chat. I love it so much.
I wish I would have. Yes, computer, add uniform to ROM.
Oh, why didn't... Damn it. That's a great answer.
Yeah,
That's exactly what happened.
that's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, why am I thinking that they'd actually have to get dressed as if they're on some sort of play?
It would be hilarious if they all forgot that it was holographic
Like a quick
uniforms.
change.
They walk out and their uniforms just dissolve. Like, fuck! It'd be amazing how often that happens.
Bring back BTS. Oh, Link. We can't. It just takes too much time.
We are too few wanting to do too much.
That would be the end of Captain's Pod.
I think it would be.
Yeah, we can only do a little
Yeah.
bit. May I suggest, says Andrew, if you're still here, an Ox Venture for your next D&D podcast show. Yes, you may.
Venture. Ooh.
Ox
Ox
Venture. I'm looking it up now. Oh, look at this crew of happy people. God, that's the kind of friends I want to have right there. Look at those
Oh.
guys.
Yeah, that's what you want.
Okay, let's see what it says. Ox Venture, a British YouTube channel dedicated to the ongoing adventures of the Ox Ventures Guild, which has been spun off from Outside Box and Outside Extra, featuring their ongoing campaigns of Dungeons, Dragons, and Blades in the Dark, performed by this group of people.
Love it.
It began in 2017. Well, that's fun. Ooh, I like it.
Love that. Give
Man,
us
that
all of
sounds
your
fun.
recommendations.
Yeah, I love that. I'm not actually listening to one actively right now.
I'm currently knee deep in NatPod. It's so good.
Now I'm picturing Rom saying, "I'm not really left-handed," and switching. Oh, you don't
That
understand
would have
that
been-
reference.
That would have been amazing.
You don't. Do you know that reference?
Rom. I'm not really
But
left-handed.
do you know the reference?
Oh, no,
from
I
the
don't.
context?
No.
It's Princess Bride.
Oh, then no, I don't. But it would have been a
good
great, it would have been great if Ron was actually great at baseball and he'd only been getting it wrong because he didn't realize he was right-handed. That would have been a really great twist.
It's not really about the amount of writing that our team does. We have to have days and days of writing, reviewing, editing.
We couldn't record two
We
shows
couldn't
in one
record.
day. But
Yeah.
No.
No.
Well,
No.
we could,
No.
but it would be damaging. Something else would disappear.
Our production line would greatly suffer if we
Yeah.
decided to do more podcasting.
hmm
So we can't do that.
Or we would lose Saturdays.
We have not. There is no Princess Bride. I know.
This was on a Boney pod recently. If you want to hear more about how much I haven't watched The Princess Bride.
Yeah. So we are gonna try to do a BG3 stream, but we're not. So since Ian is physically here, we don't have our normal setup. But we did think about experimenting to see if we could actually do a stream because that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Which it's just whether my laptop can handle the communication side as well as the game. It can do the game on its own, but I don't know about the communication. Yeah, please. I'll take a cookie. I'll
Mario
also take
Party,
a cup of tea.
right?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
could
that'd be
Mario.
nice.
I actually
like
did
that.
bring my Switch.
You did.
Wow, yeah.
Let's see. You want to go into the chat and see if there's any of those that you want to throw up on the screen?
Ian, what is a balk?
A bulk?
A bulk. I don't know. Should I know what a bulk is?
Yeah, it's a term. It's a baseball term.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna read it.
No. Just guess what it is.
Oh, guess what it is?
Yeah.
A balk. This
How
is.
about this? Is it legal?
No, I've got. Okay, no, go on. Is it legal or illegal?
Mm-hmm.
Give us some context, JCD.
No, don't do it, JCD.
A balk is a ball that has been hit so far over the stands,
just
that it
launched it.
You're just like, man, that.
So it's a foul ball.
It's gone for a walk.
It's a foul ball then.
It's gone for a balk. Yeah,
so
it's a foul.
Okay.
It's so far in the clouds that it's a balk.
But it's over the crowd, so that means it's behind.
But it has to have ricocheted off of somebody in the crowd.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're killing people today.
Well, it depends on how hard you hit it.
So it's a foul ball that hits somebody in the stand and then keeps going.
And keeps going beyond the stand. Yeah.
Now you know, guys.
Yeah, that's what it is. Facts.
The more you know.
Baseball facts.
Here's more baseball facts. You can win a home irrigation system at a game in Phoenix.
That's amazing. That is the most American thing in the world. That's great. I love it.
Oh my God.
Ian, it would be a dream if you ever guessed it on Oxventure. Question. Dream for you, them, or me? Because they may hate it.
Why not me, Andrew?
Yeah, Danae. Yeah.
God, get that off the screen. Immediate. I'm like, well, what the fuck?
Wait, how do the Gen Zs do it? Isn't it like, how do they? Isn't that the love heart nowadays?
I think Moopsy would win.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I'd be giving them all the advantage to make sure they win.
I love this comment from David earlier. I'm guessing Danae doesn't get a lot of repeat house guests if they're on Dead Rat Detail.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Ian, are you busy? Can you please come handle this?
Nope, I'm in England.
Oh my God, this cat. He did hunt Iris down this morning a bit, but it was for love and snuggles.
Really? So. Didn't actually hunt her down?
He came to the door, pushed on it, dunk, and then went, wow.
Amazing.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, here we go. Andrew is backpedaling.
I'm not looking at Andrew
we're not
anymore.
acknowledging that.
Sorry, Andrew.
So a balk, in its simplest term, is when a pitcher does something outside their normal pitch setup and wind up to try and throw off the batter. When that happens, the base runner advance. Wait, what? When that happens, the base runners advance a base? So they're not allowed to change how they pitch a ball, or else they concede a base?
Let's go back to
That's
this.
insane.
CDR, this is a good point. You have to wonder if the Vulcan captain had been planning this for ages. He had his staff trained. He had a holo program made. There's no need to do any of that. Logic dictates that this activity is superfluous. I love that word. On an all Vulcan ship.
He lessoned himself into playing a human game.
In a later episode, Dax tracks down a Vulcan serial killer targeting humans.
Okay.
Fuck yeah, that sounds awesome. Let's fucking watch that.
It's true.
Let's fucking watch that one.
Wait, we need to do something that we can do now. Reese's! Twix!
Oh, guys, he's waking them up from their bed.
Oh, are they asleep? Oh, I thought they were in different rooms. Oh no, I'm so sorry.
Look at him, he's like,
I want to sleep.
You want to come over?
Reese's! Reese's!
Come on, boys, get up. Somebody come over here. Someone go over there.
Reese's.
Come on.
Reese's.
I get Reese's. You gotta call Twix.
Twiki, come.
Hi. Sorry to wake you from your slumber, oh handsome boy. Come here.
Okay, here we go. Big stretch. Big stretch.
Okay.
Twix.
There we go. Look at that.
Yeah. Let's go. Best day ever.
An AI. Imagine you're playing baseball and the pitcher is about to throw the ball, but instead of throwing it, he suddenly stops or does something weird that tricks the runner on a base. That's not fair. So the umpire says, hey, that's a balk. And the runner gets to move to the next base. Basically, the pitcher
Okay,
that's the AI's
so
version of what's happening.
I kind of get it, because when you're like
You're faking him out.
when you're taking a penalty shot in football, you can't like run up to it, stop, run around it, run backwards, run forwards. You can do a little bit of that, but you can't like keep doing that to fake out the goalie.
I know. So rude. Oh my gosh. Guys, thanks for joining our show today. Thank you for being part of our little Captain's Pod team,
We know you love this bit the best.
part of the CinemaSins Podcast Network. You can find our little group of buddies at our Discord. It is the CinemaSins Discord, discord.gg/CinemaSins. And
Cinnamon.
there is a Captain's Pod group, a little chat room there you can join. There's also a spoilers chat if you want to talk about specifics of Star Trek or the shows that we're going to be watching and not spoil it for anyone else, namely me, and I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
We will be back at our normal broadcasting time next week. Ian will no longer be here because he's not allowed to be in my room any longer after touching all of my things. So I don't know where he's going to go. I guess we'll find that out next week.
It's okay. I'll be fine.
Thank you guys. I hope you have a wonderful week. Can't believe it's already Monday. And another week has started. So hope you guys have oh, look at this dog.
Just amazing dogs.
Thank you, Andrew. He will be broadcasting from the brig. That's exactly right. Glad you're here, David.
Yeah,
you know what? It's
it
fine.
today, David.
It's fine. I'm glad you made me watch baseball. It was a good episode.
Yeah.
Not my favorite, but
He doesn't wanna
it doesn't
be.
have to be my favorite. This is a show I am on, but it is not just my show. It's your guys' show too.
Yeah, it's you. It's about you people.
So gotta go. Okay, bye. We're off to.
Love you guys.
We'll see you guys later. We do need a puppy cam. Hopefully coming at some point in the future.
Coming soon. Well, we now have an extra camera in the room, so you can just not see me.
Yeah, that's true. I
Put
can
it
just
on the
turn.
bed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you just get my audio and nothing from me.
Exactly. That could happen. Maybe when we do our game streaming,
Mm-hmm.
which could be later today. We don't know.
Who knows?
We don't know. If you do want to watch that stuff, any of our personal gaming will be over at the Danae Says Twitch. So for those of you who are Twitchiverse, I'm sorry we don't have a YouTube where we're actually going to be broadcasting that. We are thinking about doing that, though.
We are thinking about. We just have to set up a different channel, which I think we can do.
So if you are on Twitch, just go to twitch.tv/Danae Says DENEESAYS and just follow and get notifications. And then we just kind of go live. We do try to post links on our Discord after we go live so that you can try to catch us, but you'll have to turn on, all of the notifications to get that. I know, Flyboy, I'm sorry. But it's kind of the only place that my own personal stuff can exist is in that space. I guess we can try to go live on my YouTube channel. We're figuring it out.
Yeah.
We have some ideas, but we'll see what happens. Until next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.